evening, sir. Man, welcome to Blockbuster.
Hey, man, how are you?
I'm Demas. How can I help you today?
I'm looking for some lost action movies from the 1980s, please. Can you...
Well, with all due respect, man, this is Blockbuster. If they're lost or forgotten, they're not going to be here.
Okay.
We do have a section, a Michael Bay section, an action section, my manager's picks.
Is that a fact?
That's correct.
All right, Demas, is it?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and get the fuck on out of here. I want you to have a great day and go fuck yourself.
Fantastic, then. Thank you. Have a Blockbuster night. Hey, man. Welcome to Last Video Store. How can I help you?
Hey, how are you?
Good.
I'm looking for lost action movies from the 1980s. Got anything like that?
Absolutely. Come on in. Garrick really did eat the big white mint. He was Patrick Swayze's stunt cock in the sex scene with Kelly Lynch, Lee Bridges. And there's always Barber College. Doug Wall! This is Tales from the Video Store. Welcome to Tales from the Video Store. How we doing out there in podcast land?
Doing good. How's it going?
That's going miserable. I'm miserable. I'm sick as hell. So if it sounds like I'm holding my nose all the way through, you'll know why.
There you go.
I've been sick all week. I can't kick it. I hadn't watched it. Well, I watched a couple of movies. You guys watch any good movies?
I watched some movies. I finally broke down and watched the Suspiria remake.
Oh yeah, you sent a text to us.
Yep.
Yes.
And,
how was that?
It
That was terrible.
Did you like it? I think you liked it a little bit. Here's the thing. It's like for a movie to have there are some movies, particularly horror movies, that have like nightmare logic. They don't really function like a normal narrative movie, like Phantasm. Movie we watched about a month or so ago, Snowflake. They don't really function like reality.
Right.
And the original Suspiria is like a nightmare. Like a lot of things just don't make sense. Girl walks into a room, and she falls into a hole in the floor and it's full of barbed wire. Why does that happen? It just does. This movie, to be a movie like that, this movie has a lot of plot. Has a lot of intricate plot to be a movie that is sort of dreamlike.
Right.
And it's very different than the original. The original takes place in a ballet school, which turns out to be run by witches. This is more of a modern interpretive dance school, which is run by witches. And the dance is like their magic. So there's a lot of dance in it. And like modern, like a lot. So if you like that, you will probably really like this movie. And it's it's actually, the original is actually a trilogy of movies: Suspiria, Inferno, and Mother of Tears. And each building, one's in Rome, one's in Germany, one's in America. It's run by a mother. There's a mother of the like the head witch. She's she's immortal. She's all this stuff. She can do anything. And it's more, and who it is in the original. This one is more of a mystery about who is it. Some people say it's this woman. Some people say it's this woman. And so that, I don't know that that's completely successful. But when you actually find out who it is, it's very interesting. And there's actually a scene in it where when you find out who the mother of the house Suspiria is, she does something that is completely selfless and just sort of benevolent. And I thought it was really interesting. I don't know if it's completely successful. Tilda Swinton plays 3 different characters in it. One male, 2 female. She's amazing in it.
She's amazing at everything.
Yeah, she
really is good.
And Dakota Johnson, there's an actress in it who plays the second lead, Mia Goth. I think she probably would have been better. She looks like an actress from a horror movie. I mean, it's interesting. Will I watch it again? Maybe not. Yeah. But I didn't hate it.
Was it better than The Phantom Thread?
Oh,
look at there! How can be? Was it better than The Terrifier?
Oh yes, absolutely. They're the Suspiria. There's a lot of parts of them that work. I don't know if all of them fit together, like a puzzle. But it's interesting, But I would actually be more interested for him to remake Inferno, the second film, which makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, look, there's a scene in Inferno where a woman's running, and she's like running through New York City, through New York. She goes through Central Park. She trips in the edge of a pond. There's a pipe, and then rats come out of the pipe and start to eat her. I don't think it's me. I think it's a man that happens to. And in the distance, he sees a guy running a hot dog cart. And the guy in the hot dog cart kind of looks like, oh my God, that guy's being eaten by rats. And comes running up to him and then cuts the guy's head off with a butcher knife. And it has no reason for that to happen. It's just madness, you know. And it would be interesting for this guy to remake Inferno. Because I think sometimes movies that don't work are better to be remade than movies that do work. Right. I think the original Suspiria works really well. It's like a dark fairy tale.
Yeah.
That having been said, it was all right.
2.5 hours, yeah.
No, a little over 2. Not quite 2.5 hours. Okay. Yeah. Pretty long for
I've thought about it, but I hadn't rented
it.
Out there.
There's a lot of dancing.
You kind of got me on the dance, and I can probably do without it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a total turn.
I also watched Widows, the new crime drama that came out, and it's a remake of a British TV show, I think, from the 80s. And then it was then remade in the early 2000s in America as a TV show. And it's, it's Steve McQueen, the guy who directed 12 Years a Slave and Hunger. And I always find it interesting when dramatic filmmakers make genre movies. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. This works, but it feels more like a TV show than it does a movie.
Wait, like but it's a genre of movie?
It's a heist film.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I
thought it was like hard drama.
And there's a lot of drama.
Or like revenge.
Yeah. There's a lot of drama in it, but I think some genres they don't have the whatever that thing is that makes like a great genre filmmaker. I think a lot of them just don't have the grittiness, the whatever. Yeah. I mean, it's good. I mean, it's kind of like Suspiria. Probably wouldn't watch it again.
Right.
And other than that, I watched In Order of Disappearance, which is the Norwegian film that new Liam Neeson movie is a remake of. It has Stellan Skarsgård in the Liam Neeson role, and it's very funny in an odd way. Like every time somebody's murdered, the screen goes black, their name comes up, and there's like a cross, and like their time of their birth and the time of their death. And the first time it happens, you're like, okay, that was weird. But like the 5th time it happens, it's so funny. Like, and then like there's like a shootout, and then like the screen goes black, and like 10 names start popping up, and they all have a cross. Like sort of just a plain black and white cross. But then a Serbian guy gets killed, and his cross is like an ornate, like Eastern European cross. Yeah. And then a guy parasails into a snowblower at the end for some unknown reason, and you just see all this blood and stuff go out, and it's just like, I couldn't stop laughing.
What is it?
It's called In Order of Disappearance. And that new...
and Liam Neeson is in it?
No, he is in the remake of
this new
and they're both directed by the same guy. It would be interesting to see how much of the humor is in the remake, because it's very odd.
I'm not jumping ahead, but speaking of Liam Neeson, what is going on with that? I know that's news. No, but I don't even know. I saw it. Wait, never mind.
Oh yeah, trust me, Is
it something we don't want to talk about?
Probably not.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Then I'll look it up myself.
There we go.
If we're not going to talk about current affairs. In Order of Disappearance.
Yeah.
Lots of title cards.
Yes, and just I mean, there's some people who probably would not find it funny at all. But just like somebody will say something and you know they're going to get murdered, and the screen just goes black and their name pops up, and you never see them die. You just know they're dead.
Yeah. Oh, that's kind of
it is quirky. Like the first time it happened, it's like, why did that happen? But the 10th time, I was just like, damn, that's funny.
Oh yeah, they're doing
it's almost like something out of like a Looney Tunes cartoon. Like they're just
like the movie didn't have the budget to show the gore, so they're like, well, what we'll do is we'll just go to black and the title card, and it'll work.
Yeah, it really
it'll work.
Yeah. But anyway, that's all I watched.
I watched the Ted Bundy tapes.
Yeah.
Very well done. That guy did that documentary on Metallica. Like he did the 3 kids. I can't think of the name of it.
The Rodney Hood Hills murders. Paradise Lost.
Paradise Lost. He's been doing documentaries. It's great, man. Like the stock footage that they use. And it's funny, man. I mean, I knew the Ted Bundy story, but I didn't know like the details. They really get into the details. Like that dude I didn't realize that he had escaped prison and killed all those people.
Lost all that weight, slinked the
crazy. Like I missed that part. I thought he had just killed everybody, and then he got caught. And once he got caught,
he escaped from a courthouse. Basically jumped out of a window when nobody was paying him any attention.
Exactly.
Well,
in the middle of his trial.
Yeah.
And he escaped from prison. And every time that he was called, he's always smiling, and he's like, oh, I just Yeah, I just wanted to get out, man. It's really stuffy in here, but I didn't do anything. Like everything's fine. I'm gonna be out of here in no time.
Did they mention Debbie Harry's escaping from Ted Bundy, the lead singer of Blondie? She almost was one of his victims.
Well, one of them, they did talk about the one lady about the mall that actually
he poses the cop.
Yeah. Yes. So it's all kind of It was very well done, and it was creepy, dude. Like it was really creepy.
Yeah.
And my daughter and I, they don't really show anything. She came in the end, and she watched the last part of it, and then she was Googling because I was like, this guy was the scum of the earth. Like,
as bad a serial killer as ever walked the earth.
But what's crazy, I think the most profound part of that whole thing was his girlfriend. That when they have her interviewed, I think it's her voice, or maybe it's not, but when she says he called and said, there's something going on, there's a force that is taking me and I can't.
There's something wrong with me.
That to me, though, I mean, yes, Ted Bundy is a scum of the earth. Like, he is. However, that is mental illness. Well, he knew it, too.
But Ted Bundy saved a drowning child. And he worked at a suicide hotline.
Yep.
I mean, so I think, like you're talking about, it is more like there's a George Romero movie that's called Martin, made in the mid-'70s, where he's a guy, he's like Eastern European guy, and he's been told that he's a vampire. That his family has a curse. So, and like when you see it in his mind, it's all black and white like Bela Lugosi. Then he just goes out and murders people, like slits their throats. And I think that's similar, like what they know now about like sexual psychopaths, like how it's like a fantasy. It goes through their head over and over again until they just have to do it. This
new Zac Efron, where he's playing Ted Bundy, is about the relationship between that woman that you're speaking about and Ted, and how she started to kind of see the cracks in his facade and knew that he was fucked up and there was something really wrong.
And it was and that's what I loved about that documentary, because they even said he had gone from very methodical to out of control. Like when he went to the sorority, like when he escaped, he bit the one chick's jaw. He was just he was out of control. He wasn't thinking anymore. Like so you really see the downward spiral of this.
Yeah, and I like how the reporter got him to talk.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Let's not talk about this. Let's talk about it. Like, what do you think this serial killer is thinking?
Yeah.
What do you think he was feeling? And that's what got him talking. And basically, he was so wrapped up in how great he was that he never thought that anybody would be able to pick up on the fact that he was basically just admitting to everything.
Well, that's how they caught the Green River Killer.
Yeah.
Was they interviewed Ted Bundy, and they were like, well, what would you do? And he's like, well, I think he murders them, leaves them there till they rot a little bit, then comes back and rapes them. He's like, that's what I would do. And they knew that that's how they knew they had to find the body first. Yeah. And then wait for the guy.
Fucked up.
Yeah, very fucked up.
I mean, just sick.
Yeah. A sick dude.
No,
but still, and the fact that he was begging for his life, the last way, like, dude, like, please don't take me. I'm like,
yeah. He was busted,
that's such a freaking narcissist. Like, just complete sociopath.
Yeah. As crazy as anybody.
But mental illness, because I can see that. I can see that one vulnerable phone call where he called that girl and he's like, so I'm going to tell you the truth. There's something that, and I can't, Yeah. And it's crazy because they go into his parents and they're like, oh, we're normal. I don't understand. And they're like Emily and Ed going, I had a perfect childhood, Like, I don't know why he's killing women and raping them while they're dead and biting. Like, I don't have any explanation.
Sometimes there just isn't an explanation.
So, listen, sometimes the world just shits out of Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
That's exactly
and
right.
And you'll probably never meet him, but you might.
But that
I will say that is, and I don't know, it's like an hour and 20 minutes apart, right? About 5 parts.
Something like that, maybe an hour.
It's not quite as good as the O.J. Simpson Made in America, but I would say that it's the second best documentary that I've seen in the last 5 years, and I would suggest everybody go to Netflix and get it. Because Netflix, thank you very much, just upped my subscription to $25 a month.
Wow.
That's correct. When I started with Netflix, it was $13 a month. Now we're at $25, 5 years later.
Wow.
How many screens is that for?
All of them?
I don't understand. Because you get like so many.
So if three of my children are on their iPods watching Netflix.
Yeah.
Nobody else can watch. So
right.
you get
so
3 screens at one time.
3 at one time. That's what I was
one
asking.
time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's $25. But, you know, when you have quality programming like that.
Yeah. And they bought the rights to that Zac Efron movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they can ride the wave because it's really good. Like, it's creepy, dude. Like, I almost want to watch it again. The Made in America I watched twice, and I'm like, I still want to watch it again. It's so good. Like, it's so well done.
It is.
Did you watch anything else?
Yep, The Nun. Oh, and I got one thing for Hollywood. Stop making shitty horror movies.
Why would you rent The Nun?
Because my son wanted to watch it. We were getting Marco's Pizza, and we went into the family video. And I haven't been into a video store.
Yeah.
Despite our name and everything, I haven't been in a video store in a long time. I get everything digitally. But man, I'll tell you what, we were in there for an hour. River's just running the aisles, and I'm like, I freaking love this.
Yeah, it's so much. It's just like I went to a new one last night.
Did you?
Yeah, that's where I rented.
Oh, then you took the picture.
That's where I rented In Order of Disappearance. It's called Big Time Video Outlet, and it's mostly DVD, very little Blu-ray. I guess it's just a guy who owns a bunch of movies. And I got 3 for 2 days for $5.
Yeah.
And I rented a couple movies, or 3 movies, and the place reeked of incense. Like, it was overpowering.
But that's perfect.
But it just, posters on the wall, like 5-year-old posters, you could tell, posters on top of that, and just, there was an adult room in the back.
I noticed it.
And,
yes.
I figured that's where you were headed.
That's how diseases get started.
But that's probably where he makes most of his money.
Right. And it's in a very small town that doesn't have any other.
Wait a minute. You actually drove to a different town.
It's like 5 minutes away. It's like.
Well, I mean, like I said, I went into family video, and it's a little bit more blockbustery. It's a little bit corporate.
Oh, yeah.
But I freaking loved it. We walked up and down those aisles, and I got The Nun and The Meg and First Blood on Blu-ray for $5.
Yep.
For 5 days.
Yep.
And man, I'm telling you, there's
something about it.
There's something to be said about physically walking into a video store.
Yeah. It's like a couple weeks ago when I picked up My Blue Heaven.
Yeah.
I was like, haven't seen this in 20 years.
Inevitably, you're going to walk in there and you're going to see something that's going to.
Oh,
you're
yeah.
not thinking about, and you're like, oh
yeah,
well, of
it's
course
$1.
I'm running this. Yeah.
It's cheaper. It really is. You watch. I got The Meg, The Nun, and First Blood. Now, granted, you have to go through the inconvenience of taking it back on Monday or getting overcharged, but that's $5.
Yeah.
I mean, it's $4.99 to stream.
Yeah.
A rental.
Yep.
On the computer
for 48 hours.
Yeah, for 48 hours. You're right. So I mean, it's.
Yeah.
I almost.
And you're supporting a business.
Yeah, a local business.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. So so I watched I have nothing. You don't.
Yeah.
Your laugh and my statement to Hollywood is enough. I won't even get into it. But my son has been dying to watch it.
What did he think?
He didn't have any idea what was going on.
Yeah.
And
it's a demon that looks like
neither did I, because I asked him at the end.
Yeah.
I'm like, why?
It's not a nun. It's a demon.
I said, she sprayed some blood on him, and that killed him. And he was like, yeah, she faked it. I'm like, what's going on? Did I miss something?
Yeah.
And he says, I don't know what's going on. He said, that wasn't very good.
Good.
I said, so if River does thinks it's not very good, then it's not very good. So there you go.
There you go.
What do you got for us?
I wanted to watch a movie from the 90s. And I wanted to, something I thought was going to be actiony, but I was mistaken. It's a movie called Judgment Night. Came out in 93.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Emilio Estevez, Cuba Gooding Jr., Dennis Leary, Jimmy Piven. It had what I thought and what I remembered from 93, was my senior year of high school. I remember when this movie came out, and the soundtrack
was everywhere.
Was killer, because it had grunge bands or heavy metal bands mixed up with these rap artists.
Just another victim.
Yeah. Doing these collaborations, and I thought it was just the coolest shit ever. So I got hyped up and looked up all the music and listened to a little bit of it. It doesn't hold up, man. It's rough these days. There's a couple of songs that are still okay, but for the most part, it's really bad.
Me and my buddy Brian, we referenced that movie when we were young all the time.
Yeah.
Like we'd be driving through Charlotte, we'd be like, if we break down, you're Jeremy Piven, you die first.
Yeah,
it's basically this group of high school kids or high school friends that are now probably in their maybe late 20s, early 30s. They're going to go to a boxing event, and it's the classic one mistake, one night. They take a wrong turn off the interstate and end up in just the worst part of town, and they run across. They hit a guy and. This guy's out of his mind. He's saying people are coming to get him. Soon enough, Dennis Leary shows up in his gang, and they kill this guy. Those guys witness it, so they're on the run. It's like it's just a good old cat and mouse. It's urban jungle, and it's classic Dennis Leary.
Oh, yeah.
If you remember back then when Dennis Leary first started gaining notoriety, that he just has this presence, and that's what he brought to this movie. But unfortunately, there's really no violence in it whatsoever.
It's just them running.
It's basically just them running, and some smart comments here and there from Leary, smart-ass comments. But all in all, just not a lot of action, you know. And until the end, when Emilio Estevez's character they keep alluding to him being like kind of this badass, growing up, but through this whole movie, there's some times where they're wanting him to do something, and he just
I don't even remember this.
He hesitates and he won't do anything until the very end when they get locked down in this building, and then he
fires the bazooka at the truck, and
he just
maximum overdrive.
He just becomes a fucking badass and kicks some ass.
They came out around the same time as that movie with Bill Paxton and William Sandler.
Just another victim.
Yeah, they're very similar kind of movies.
I mean, not what I remembered.
New Jack City. It was during that all.
That's sort of early 90s.
Hip hop was just coming around, and alternative music was hitting with the hip hop, and everything was melding. And Trespass. You just said that. I'm sorry. And what was the one? Deep Cover on the
Deep Cover.
Yeah, Denzel Washington and John Lithgow. Like that was.
Oh no, that's.
Ricochet.
The Deep Cover was the name of the song, but okay, that all there. Whatever.
It's fine.
So I guess urban thrillers would be what they
I mean, I thought for some reason in my mind, I thought, oh man, like people get shot in this thing, like it's crazy, and there's absolutely no violence whatsoever, and it's really a couple of gunfights and some fist fighting, and then that's kind of the end of the movie.
If Dennis Leary is your heavy, you're not doing great.
Yeah. It just didn't. It certainly didn't resonate like it did for me.
Right.
Back in '93. So for me, it is definitely a no rent.
Yeah.
I will say this though, watching it, man, I always liked Emilio Estevez.
Yeah.
And he's fine in this movie, and I'm watching. I'm like, damn, man, what happened to that guy? So I started to look, and he's been in actually a couple of things in the last few years, just here and there, dabbling a little bit. I know he's directed a couple of things, produced some things. But I always liked him.
Yeah.
And that just...
He's got Sheen money. He doesn't really have to do anything.
He doesn't have to do anything. Yeah, exactly. But it was nice to see him for what it was. Cuba Gooding was his normal self. Piven, fast-talking bullshit.
Fat Jeremy Piven.
Yeah, all that was fine. It was exactly what I expected it to be. But rent or no rent, probably I'm going to have to pass. I don't think I'll ever watch it.
Don't buy the soundtrack.
And
just another victim, kid.
Terrible, dude.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't then, though.
Yes.
Okay, just another victim. Just another victim. House of Pain and Helmet sells that whole CD.
Helmet.
Helmet's awesome.
It
Don't
does.
shit talk Helmet.
It really does.
I haven't heard anybody mention that band in 20 years.
Dude, Helmet was one of our staples
awesome.
of our high school.
Outside
in
of
the
that,
meantime,
outside of that, I didn't watch anything movie wise.
Really, that was it.
Yeah,
that's all you got.
That's pretty much all I got.
What?
Yeah.
It's a commercial break. A helmet commercial break.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, get ready, Lee. Here it comes.
You know how many emails I've gotten to ask for more of Garrick singing? 0.
I don't think this is going to help that either.
Yeah. Did we see them live at some point?
Yeah.
Your contributions left unnoticed, son. All right. I had my helmet moment.
Oh, was that a helmet on?
I would just settle for earplugs.
Is that copyright infringement? Can we play that in our podcast?
I don't think so.
If the algorithms catch the beginning of that song, we're screwed, right?
Right.
Great. So I'll probably have to cut that. That stinks, man, because that's helmet.
Well.
I did watch one other, and we won't even get into it. American Gangster.
Oh, yeah.
Rewatched.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Ridley Scott's last good movie.
Yeah, it really was good. Like, Russell Crowe was awesome in that movie. Like,
it's a little long. They drag it out a little bit. Kind of glorify this guy a little bit too much.
That actually happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's crazy. He was doing that. Like, anyway. Enough of that thing. Okay. What do you got? You got some news?
We got some movie news. I got, unfortunately, I have 3 real quick.
Garrick's dying. That's the news.
Well, So, anyway. But Dick Miller, legendary character actor, Dick Miller died earlier this week. He had 182 acting credits, 2 that have yet to be released. So he had 180 movies that have been released so far.
Damn.
And was in everything. Started in the early 50s with Roger Corman. The first movie he was in, Apache Woman, he was a Native American and then later killed himself as a cowboy, like shot himself in the movie. So he was like 2 different characters in the movie. And just was in like everything Joe Dante ever directed. Was in tons of stuff. And then like after that, actually the next day, Julie Adams, who they were both in their early 90s. She's probably most famous as being the actress from Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yes.
And she's probably the only actress. She's more famous for being on a poster than she is for being in a movie. Yeah, it could be the most famous movie poster of all time. Her with the creature holding her in the bathing suit.
Yeah.
But I think she had one movie that had yet to come out. So she was like 91 and still acting. And unfortunately, a couple of days ago, Albert Finney died. One of my favorite actors.
Yeah, oh my God. He was so good in Aaron Brockovich. I know that's later on in his life, but man.
He was still awesome.
Yeah. He was so good in that movie. Like, he was just so good. And Big Fish.
And
Tim Burton.
I love, maybe my favorite scene in movie history is the Danny Boy scene in Miller's Crossing. Where he's sitting there and just the house catches on fire and he sees the smoke coming and he just kills those guys.
Awesome.
It's one of the coolest scenes ever.
Yeah.
It really is. And he's amazing. And
so we lost 3 good ones.
So 3 out of 3 within a few days. And other than that, we also had the new Craig Zahler trailer, Dragged Across Concrete, was released earlier. That looks really, really good. It's probably going to be pretty controversial. I mean, it has to do with police brutality and stuff, and so hopefully
it has to be because like Bone Tomahawk and what was the other one?
Brawl.
That one's it's gonna. I have a feeling did he write it?
Yes.
I don't know. Okay, so it's gonna have that hard dialogue. It's gonna be hard.
I saw Bone Tomahawk.
Mel Gibson and Vince Vaughn both on and off screen are controversial, and Vince Vaughn.
I saw Bone Tomahawk in the theater.
Dude, when they saw that dude, when they chopped that dude in half, like,
it was at the Charlotte Film Festival.
God, that makes me
there was a bunch of old film festival people there, and they were not loving it. Like at the end, they were just like, people were walking out. They were just like, "What is this?" And I was like, "It's a cannibal western." You should have read the program.
Yeah,
I mean, because it's not. There's nothing. It's. The first half of it is 100% a western, and the second half is 100% a horror movie.
Oh, it's rough.
It really
is. It's creepy. Oh my God! Yeah. When they chop him, have you seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he's going, that tomahawk's going through his butthole, and then dude, and it's okay.
And but I love Brawl on Cell Block 99. That was my favorite movie of 2017.
That was our first pickup video, wasn't it?
It was.
Yes, and I love it. You watched it? Yeah, that's right. That started it all.
Yep.
Actually, you told me about that.
Yeah.
We watched it. I sent that to him. He wasn't a part of the podcast yet. I was like, dude, you gotta watch this movie, and he liked it. And I was like, dude, you should come do this.
Yeah, there we go.
How about that?
Yep.
Yep.
It's all thanks to Craig Zahler.
So now that's when is that coming out?
I think sometime later this year. Like I'd say maybe in like the spring.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It's good to see Mel Gibson and like that. That should be pretty. It's great. Vince Vaughn said, "You know, I don't want another partner." You know, that was cool.
Oh yeah, I loved it. Yeah, it looks but his movies they're never they're never one faceted. Like it's never one point of view.
Right.
Nope.
You know, and I don't think the movie will be it'll be all like all from the cop's point of view. Like they'll be every character in this movie they're very flawed. You know, which I enjoy. And other than that, the only thing I have last bit of news I have is we talked about him last week. Leigh Whannell has been hired to write and possibly direct the Escape from New York remake, and I'm actually somewhat more excited. The last name that was bandied about was Robert Rodriguez, and I think he's sort of past his prime, and past directing movies like this. He's on the bigger movie. He's got a huge James Cameron movie coming out that he directed.
That's not Friday coming out. The Golden Ticket comes out Friday.
There you go. And
should go see
I'm actually I'm more excited for Leigh Whannell because Upgrade is like it's a big, not a big budget movie, but it's a professionally budgeted movie.
Right.
But it has a lot of attitude to it, and I think that he is still a young enough filmmaker and still has the ability to make a movie like this. And I don't necessarily want an Escape from New York remake, especially if I've heard reports of he starts out, he has 2 eyes in it, and at the end of the movie he gets an eye patch, and I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah.
That's not what makes Snake Plissken cool. I mean, that sounds so I am excited for him to do it, but I wonder let's go back to just original John Carpenter. Like he made movies throughout the 80s, and they all had his point of view. Kind of like Greg Zahler had his point of view. Can you be a successful...
They were trademarks. You knew they were John Carpenter
exactly.
movies.
The music, the tone, the way the actors spoke. Can you think a filmmaker can be a successful genre filmmaker now? Not like the Coen Brothers or Paul Thomas Anderson, and still make movies that are successful and be idiosyncratic to what makes them interesting.
Not lately.
Yeah, because I like all the Marvel movies, but they're all the same movie.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange is just Magic Iron Man.
Yeah.
There's nothing that makes it a Doctor Strange movie. And
you're right. It's all the same.
It's all the same. Can you hum any of the themes from the Marvel movies? Like you can the Star Wars theme or anything like that? No, because they're completely generic. And I think that's intentional, so they'll appeal to as wide a spectrum of people as possible. They don't look cool. You badmouth the DC movies all you want, but at least they have a look to them.
Right.
Right. Well, it's like I always go back to Tim Burton.
Right.
Tim Burton. It doesn't matter what movie he makes.
It looks like Tim Burton.
You're going to see something in that movie that's going to go.
Yeah.
This is there's a tree that's curved over.
Yeah.
In Dumbo, I think it's something in the circus. I saw it in the trailer. There's going to be a look to it.
Right.
That says,
he's famous enough where he can insist on that.
Yeah. Right.
True. Whereas Leigh Whannell is not.
Yeah. Talking about a newer.
Yeah.
Less established.
Yeah, I don't think that's possible.
I don't think so.
Maybe give him a small enough amount of money where it won't matter.
Yeah, I think the days of the Francis Ford Coppolas and the Steven Spielbergs.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking like David Cronenberg.
Well, you're right, but
guys who were the Scanners is a complete Cronenberg movie.
Yeah, they have their own style.
Right, you can make that, but you could make that movie. Right, Cronenberg could make that movie the way he wanted to.
Right.
Then now. Everything's run by hedge funds.
Right.
Everything's run. It's almost like, okay, so Garrick, you're going to direct the next Marvel movie. Here's the protocol for that. Here's the book. I need you to read the playbook because this is the protocol. This is how it needs to be done.
Yeah.
And there's no other way to do it.
Like that female director who she didn't do the Black Widow movie. I cannot remember her name, but she said she went and took the meeting and she was like, I would really like to get into dealing with the stunt coordinator and dealing with the action because I've never done that. And she's like, well, you don't have to worry about that. We'll take care of that.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, then why am I directing an action movie? She's like, then I'm just directing people talking. She's like, I could do that without this. She's like, no, thank you. And she's like, you're not directing the movie. You're just supervising the actors.
Yeah.
So
it's already predetermined.
The movies,
everything's predetermined, and it has to look a certain way.
Yeah.
And it has to be done a certain way because
the last guy who probably had 100% control was Jon Favreau on the first Iron Man because they had no idea if it would be successful or not.
Yeah, just make it, and it's awesome.
Oh yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Then after he did that, they built the protocol playbook.
They adopted his style
and said, all right, everybody has to do it just like John Favreau.
And they are basically, it's all just like Iron Man from there to now to Infinity War, it's basically just Iron Man.
Yeah,
they're all Iron Man, with the exception of Black Panther and Captain America, who aren't really that similar. There aren't characters like that, but the rest of them are just Iron Man.
Well, Steven Soderbergh, he's still managed, but he's from the old school too. I guess you're talking about right now, but
and his movies don't cost that much money anymore.
Right, but you can always tell when it's a Soderbergh movie. There's still a couple of guys out there that can get away with it. But you're right.
I'm talking about new.
But they're all
it's like
names like Tarantino and Soderbergh, and Wes and all these guys. They've earned it.
Right. So let's just say we make The Fateful Season, and so then I make it with private money. Yeah. And then Hollywood says, "Hey, we got this one movie. We want you to direct this one movie." Okay, great. However, so here's the script, and then here's the protocol book. Yeah. And you have to shoot it this way, and it has to be done this way, and it has to look this way, and it has to be, it has to be an hour and 37 minutes long. Yeah. And you know what I mean? Like that's how it's become. Right. It's like IKEA. Right. Hollywood has become IKEA.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
Step 1 to step 8. This is how it's done, and this is the successful way to do it.
Right. And the weird thing is now, if you made a huge movie, they would insist on it being like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Because all those big movies are all way too long.
Oh, the new Avengers movie.
It's going to be 3 hours.
It's 3 fucking hours.
They're talking about doing an intermission.
Endgame is going to be 3 hours.
Yeah, they're talking about doing an intermission.
That was released the other day.
Well, the first one was what, 2:38?
Yeah, and it's just like you think
too fucking long.
You think with if you cut it down to say an hour and 45, that gets you more showings.
Yeah.
So is it Endgame the last Avengers movie?
It's the last of the. Probably not, but it's
why
it'll be the last of a bunch of the original.
Because I think a lot of these actors don't want to play in these movies anymore.
They're falling out.
Yeah, their contracts are up.
But they'll continue to go back to this universe for sure.
Well, I mean they're swapping out Batman, and I know who was it? Is it the Thor guy? Hemsworth. One of the ones that's like, I don't want to do this anymore, and Captain America doesn't want to do it anymore.
Evans is done. Nobody, I don't know.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr.
I don't. These guys are crazy because at this point in time, like Chris Evans, he is Captain America, and dude, you could show up sleeping,
and play that role,
play that role, and make millions of dollars. Why? I mean. Maybe it's kind of like Daniel Radcliffe with the Harry Potter.
Well, what Robert Downey Jr. said, he said, I'm not saying I'm quitting. I'm just saying I'm quitting. I want to quit before it gets embarrassing. Before it's like, those last couple of Roger Moore, James Bond movies where it was like, come on, dude. You're too old for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. And that's true. Well, and people people want to, like I said, Daniel Radcliffe. I mean, he was Harry Potter for freaking 20 years.
Half his life.
That's what he was. Yeah. And they were doing one a year, and that's all he was. And that's all he could be because that's...
Yeah.
So then, like, half his career is gone. Granted, sure, he's got plenty of money, but as an actor, how many other things did he pass up to be Harry Potter?
Right. I mean, I don't know.
Well, he couldn't go out and play something
It makes sense for some people, but for these guys, they're already... All of the characters in this, all the actors, they're all... well established. Yeah. They don't need this. Yeah, some of these guys need a stepping stone. Yeah. Not anybody. Like Chris Evans don't need a stepping stone. Yeah. None of these guys need a stepping stone. And that's why it's easier for them to walk away.
Yeah.
They got other shit they want to do. It's not about money or fame for them at this point. They've been there, done that.
Right.
Yeah, I mean Robert Downey Jr.'s.
Yeah, he doesn't need to do Iron Man. I mean, his
career was over when he fell asleep in his neighbor's house.
His neighbor's kid's bed.
On heroin, and now he's
he's the biggest movie star ever.
Ever. Good for him too, man. Because I love that guy.
Yeah, too.
Good guy.
All right, well, let's get to the actual movie.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. All right, the movie this week is from 1997, or though sometimes I think it was released in different parts of the world at different times. Some things say 97, some things say 98. We'll say 97. And it's Drive, directed by Steve Wang, starring Mark Dacascos and Kadeem Hardison. And it is like a science fiction martial arts road movie that's a buddy comedy. And it was sort of like, it's weird when we're talking about comic book movies. It is kind of the last of these type of movies. Because the next year, X-Men comes out, 99. And a lot of these low-budget action movies like this just kind of ceased to exist. They got now they're actually starting to come back. Like there's a lot of direct-to-video action movies that are actually really cool now. That just don't get big releases. But from about 99 to probably about 2010, it was, there weren't a lot of great ones. And this is it's Steve Wang. Oddly enough, he was a special effects artist. He's probably most famous for directing for creating the Creature, the Gill Man, and Monster Squad. And he's worked on a million movies. He's worked on Predator, worked on, he's just a world-renowned special effects artist. But then he started directing, and he directed a couple live-action adaptations of anime, the Guyver movies, which are very popular in Japan. And this is like his, I guess this is supposed to be like his big entryway into American filmmaking. Yeah. And I'm from there, that's kind of my description. It's Martin Costco, he's a martial artist, I guess like a security guy who works for a Hong Kong company. And they've made like if the human body was a car, this would be like a nitrous system. You can implant it in someone's heart, and if they can run faster, they can jump higher. If you're a martial artist, you can do amazing things with it. And basically, he's escaped from Hong Kong, and he's trying to sell it to an American company for $5 million. And he kidnaps Kadeem Hardison's character, and they basically got to drive from San Francisco to Los Angeles to get the money. And there's an army of thugs who are trying to stop him. It's a pretty basic action movie, but that's the description. What did you think, Garrick?
Well, it opened in Germany because it shouldn't have opened here.
Right.
I get it. The Kung Fu was great. The hotel room Kung Fu was fantastic.
That's a great scene.
Mark DeCosco's reminded me a lot of Jackie Chan.
Right.
It was great. It was Kung Fu performance.
He is. You could definitely say this movie was made to sort of introduce him to American audiences.
Yes.
And even when they get pulled over by police officers about 10 minutes in the movie, and the cop asks him his name, and he says, "My name is Sammo Hung." So obviously, it's a huge homage to Hong Kong filmmaking. Yes. And it does. The fight scenes do have the feeling of a Hong Kong movie, really more than any American movie I've ever seen. But go ahead, continue. I'm sorry.
You sure?
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. The humor wasn't very good. All right, so here's the thing.
Okay.
And this is going to sound pretty ignorant, but, that's Garrick, so whatever. The technical flaws in the stunts, it's so hard to explain. It's like, it's supposed to be fun, but then there was moments where they were serious, so in the first 5 minutes, he's dodging bullets.
Yeah.
Bionic Man or not. You're ridiculous. I don't know. It was fun. I love the Kung Fu parts because I appreciate the Kung Fu performance and some of that cool stuff like what he did where he bounced the mattresses around. Mm-hmm. It felt like Jackie Chan. Kadeem Hardison was awful. Awful. Whew. Brittany Murphy had one funny line in it. Everything was exaggerated. I know where they were going. They were trying to be fun, but then they were trying to take themselves serious.
Right.
So, I don't know. It was uneven. There was so many technical flaws. Like one time they jumped on that yellow car and you could see the rubber bounce. Like you could see the stunt doubles swapped out. And what killed me was the rocket launcher. Homeboy pulls out this rocket launcher that nobody could even freaking hold up, and he fires 3 rockets into a big old hotel, and then the end, I get it, funny, we're gonna blow up the Apollo 14, and the rockets start, by that time, I'm like, this is the dumbest movie ever. Skip that shit. The drive sucks.
Okay. Doug, what do you think?
Skip that shit.
Toby Wong.
Yeah.
Toby Wong. Toby Wong. Fucking Charlie Chan. I think that. Look, this is not a good movie.
It's not.
It's a classic B fucking grade movie across the board. The acting in it was deplorable.
Terrible.
But I didn't care about that. Once you get about 10 minutes into a movie like this, that's you're not in it for the acting or for the story. You're just watching to see what's going to happen next. Kind of like Nemesis. this director was good at putting the action out there, but there was no story. No. Did they get the money at the end? Because I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think they just walked up a building and then high-fived and got in the car and rode off together. I mean, there's no driving in it. I was expecting like crazy driving stunts and all this. Really,
no. One time when he hit at the beginning, he hits the parked car.
Yeah.
It's not even close to the car, and the sparks are flying out. Like, it's horrible.
Yeah, it's low. I don't know what the budget was, but it sure looks very low budget.
I would give it 1 star, and that 1 star would come from Mark Dacascos' freaking kung fu performances.
Yeah, and honestly, I thought he was fine, man. He's not that terrible, really.
He's the best thing in the movie.
I just think he was put in a really bad movie. Hardison, like you said, Brittany Murphy, they were both fucking terrible.
And I love Brittany Murphy.
And it's kind of like a Rush Hour before Rush Hour.
Yeah.
I think it came out a year before.
Not very good.
Yeah. Well, I didn't like Rush Hour either, but this is what it kind of reminded me of.
Right.
You got like the classic, like, let's put these two opposite people together, Kadeem Hardison and Dacascos, but it just, all in all, it's lighthearted.
Yeah.
Like, there's no
stakes.
Yeah, like when you said it got serious, like, it never really got serious to me. Like, I never worried about it in the characters.
They took themselves seriously. That's the thing. It seems like the filmmaker wasn't having any fun to, like, he's like, one scene he's taking himself serious, and then the next scene he's not. Like, it's uneven. You have to, like, okay, so this movie, if you do this movie slapstick like Rush Hour, Jackie Chan, those guys, Gary Gray, I think, directed that.
Brett Ratner.
Well, Brett Ratner, he knew, like, they're having fun, and you could see it.
Well, but I think that the director just doesn't have that comedic.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
But they still tried. I mean, do you remember? I don't remember exactly when it happens in the movie, but Dacascos is there, and he's got this weird coat on, and he rips the coat off, and he's got the exact same thing underneath it.
Yeah.
Like, that's meant to be funny, but it just didn't come across like you or I would have put it across. Right. It's almost like he didn't, like, the director didn't really understand the material.
Exactly, like the rocket at the end. Like, oh, funny, huh? But by that time, dude, you're not having a good time.
And Dacascos, begging. The last thing I remember seeing him in, there's a show called Iron Chef. And he came on and is the chairman of Iron Chef America. He started doing this in 2005. I hate the fucking show.
Yeah.
But I thought that was him. I had to actually look it up to make sure. Because he looks so much like the original guy. He's supposed to be his nephew, which he's not.
Yeah.
But he seems like a guy that can make fun of himself, and I appreciate that. He doesn't take himself too seriously, I didn't think. And, that's why I didn't hate the movie as much as you did. I could tell that it was what it was. I mean, it's eerily similar to me to Nemesis in that it's straight 90s. Like, the music is fucking horrible in it. The dialogue is horrible in it. But the action is pretty good, and that's what sustains it, and that's why you watch it.
Right.
Anything else is garbage. But
I appreciate that.
Yeah, if you're in it for the action and just settle into that, then it's watchable.
Right.
So skip it or rent it?
Well, it depends.
Oh, come on.
It being free on Amazon Prime.
If you want to get back to a movie that was made in 97, it feels kind of like 92 to me, really. Then get into it. I don't know if you'll be able to finish it. Good luck.
Yeah.
But I finished it.
Don't spend a red cent on it.
I wouldn't pay to watch it.
Right.
And I doubt it'll ever be seen by me again. But that's not necessarily...
You liked it, didn't you?
I'll say this. For the last, let's say, 45 years, white people have tried to duplicate...
Why you gotta be white people?
Shut up. I've tried to duplicate the feelings of a Hong Kong movie. Yeah. Pretty much from Enter the Dragon till now, with varying, like, from here...
degrees of success.
To degrees of The Matrix... And it's very hard because what you were talking about, the inconsistent tone, that's how, like, Hong Kong movies have very inconsistent tones.
Yeah.
Like, there's a scene where Kadeem Hardison has a chainsaw and the guy's, like, coming around the side with a machine gun, and he cuts the guy's arm with the machine gun, and the machine gun spins in the air and shoots the guy who just got his arm cut off.
Yeah.
That in the Hong Kong movie, that would happen, no one would bat an eye.
Oh, no, I like that part.
Taiwanese. Steve Williams Taiwanese, and I think that's just how they, like... There's a Hong Kong superhero movie I like called Heroic Trio, which is basically, it was made, they're like, Tim Burton Batman movie came out, they're like, Let's make one of those.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where they're fighting. These two superheroes are fighting over this baby in an abandoned, like a baby's been kidnapped. And as they're fighting, they drop it, and it goes through a hole in the floor, and it's abandoned, like crumbling building. And when they pick it up, when the superhero picks it up, its head is bleeding, and it's fallen on a nail. A nail went into its head. And the superhero takes it back to the hospital, and the doctor comes out and does the thing where it pulls down the surgical mask, like, couldn't save it. And this goofy-ass movie just switches to unbelievably serious, where a fucking baby dies.
Yeah.
And when I first watched this movie years ago, I was like, what the fuck just happened? I was watching, like, you know, this goofy-ass superhero movie, and a baby just died.
It's the lost in translation. What is acceptable in that culture and what's the norm in that culture differs from us, and that's why sometimes those genre movies, like you're talking about, these Hong Kong movies, sometimes they work beautifully for American audiences,
and sometimes they do not,
and sometimes they don't.
Because
and I think
they
goes both ways.
They want action, they want romance, they want violence, they want comedy, and you know, like we like one, maybe two tones in a movie. You know, like
not seven.
And this movie kind of has about 5.
Yeah, it does.
And I think that's really sort of one of the things that stops people from enjoying it. Even I'll admit, there's some terrible parts in it.
Yeah, there are. But there's some great ones.
There's some great parts in it too. So, like I said, if you have Amazon Prime and you're just sitting around, you're gonna watch something, you're gonna half pay attention to it. Turn it on.
Yeah. You know? There's no language or anything like that. There's
really.
No real blood or anything like that.
Even when the guy gets his arm cut off with the chainsaw, it's bloodless.
Yeah, it just looks silly.
Yeah, and then Kadeem Hardison's running around with a gun with the dead guy's hand stuck on it. And
that was a point where I was like, oh God, do I want to keep watching this? All right, just.
And I will admit that Brittany Murphy's character was down for whatever.
Yes.
When the bad guy showed up, she's just sitting there spraying bullets and stuff. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And so I think.
Yeah, her parents were out of town. She just wanted to have a good time.
That's true. That's very true. And yeah, but I say, you know, if like I say you got Prime, you want to watch a '90s low budget action movie.
That's a good one.
Give it a shot. There you go. Yeah. Now, like I say, pay money to see it? Absolutely not.
Nah.
Skip it.
Yeah. I'd watch it before I watch Phantom Thread again. I'll tell you that much.
That's close.
Yeah, it's a close one. Well, so with your shitty taste in 90s action movies,
right?
What's your rental this week?
My rental this week is Martin Costos' probably his most well-known movie. It's a French film from 2001 called Brotherhood of the Wolf. And it's probably the most well-known movie.
Oh, yes.
I saw this movie in the theater in Concord. Drove from Shelby to Concord like at 11:30 at night. I walk in, it was packed. There were like 4 seats left. I guess every movie nerd in North Carolina showed up. And we sat in the front row, and I remember I had this guy named Jake who was with us. He was kind of a buddy of mine. And about the third subtitle, my buddy goes, "Is this in French?" And I just went, "Oh, dude, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry we dragged you out here in the middle of the night. You're going to have to sit through a 2-hour French movie that has monsters and kung fu."
Yeah.
It's like a 17th century costume drama that has a giant monster. Mark DeCostos is a Native American who does martial arts, and it's based on true. There was in the 17th, about after the kind of in between the French and Indian War and the Revolutionary War, when France lost control of what they owned and what they controlled of what is now America. In France, there was this. They call it the Beast of. I can't remember the name of the town it takes place in, but there was some animal that was attacking women.
Yeah,
like dozens of them. You know, women and children, and they bring in the guy. Pretty much every character in it is historically accurate except Mark DeCostos' character, who is sort of the... If the French guy is the Green Hornet, Mark DeCostos is Kato. You know, he's like sort of his sidekick. And he just come back from the French and Indian War, you know, the war that takes place when Last of the Mohicans takes place in. Comes back to France. There's this animal attack. He's a scientist, and they basically send him to kill it. And when it comes back, it's not a wolf. It's this giant... There's this beast that is controlled by this cult that is basically trying to overthrow France, overthrow the king. And they're called the Brotherhood of the Wolf. And it's this, imagine like a lion covered in armor with giant like claws and metal teeth, I guess is what it kind of looks like.
I like it.
And it's just it's similar to like we're talking about Hong Kong movies. It's like 7 genres in one. It has the greatest special effect of all time, which is naked Monica Bellucci. But she plays a prostitute.
Is there any movie that she doesn't get naked in?
God, I hope not. If there is, it's not a movie worth seeing. But I mean, it's a little too long. It's but it's. I went to a buddy of mine once. He said, "Man, this movie's just a cool movie. That's an excuse to have cool things." I said, "It absolutely is." Yeah. And it's just eye candy. It's a Christoph Gans guy directed it. He would later did the first Silent Hill movie. He's basically he's a guy who makes things that look cool.
Which that movie did look cool.
Yeah, the movie did look cool. Yeah. So Brotherhood of the Wolf. That's my pick for this week.
Cool.
There you go. All right. Well, I guess that brings us to the Bare Fist Showdown this week. Doing a little bit different. John Rambo whopped.
Yeah.
John Matrix.
I saw that. I somewhat disagree because John Rambo defeated a group of Viet Cong soldiers with some American soldiers. John Matrix defeated an entire army with Rae Dawn Chong. That's not the same thing. Yes. But anyway.
That's fair enough. Well, this week we're going to get into what we saw when I talk about Kung Fu performance. So, the Bare Fist Showdown this week is Mark Dacascos versus Jackie Chan.
Oh, there we go.
In a hotel with mattresses.
Right.
And just one window.
Okay.
What happens? And who wins that fight?
Jackie Chan kills him quick.
Wait, Jackie Chan, what year?
Well, why you gotta complicate things?
Because he's like 65 years old.
Let's do Mark Dacascos in Drive, right, and Jackie Chan in Police Story.
Oh, probably Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
There's no probably about it.
Yeah. I know. Well, this is a terrible showdown. Yeah. I think I need to rework this stuff. Or do I just need to go back to the women?
Go with what you know.
Whatever you do it before we record.
Oh yeah, no, I like this. No. Well, I think the problem with this, and we'll let the listeners behind the curtain. A lot of people don't know who Mark Dacascos is, right. So of course they're going to pick Jackie Chan,
right?
Even though Jackie Chan would probably take that.
Yeah.
They're going to pick Jackie Chan because they know Jackie Chan,
right?
Whereas movie geeks like us know who Mark Dacascos is.
There was something else that Costco was in. I can't remember. That's a more well known.
I tell you what, he is going to be, and I think he's going to be the main henchman in John Wick 3. He's throughout the trailer.
Oh, that's where I saw. Yeah, that's where I knew I'd seen.
Yeah, his character's name is Zero, which just sounds cool.
Yeah,
and I think he's going to be the guy that mainly the counter he's fighting throughout the most of the movie. Which good for him because after Brotherhood of the Wolf, it seemed like he was going to start being in bigger movies. But then he just like Doug said, he just ended up hosting Iron Chef America for 5 years, and which I'm sure paid well. At least I hope it did.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, look at Drew Carey. He went from TV show to Price is Right. That's what he does.
He was on Cradle to the Grave with
Jet Li.
With Jet Li and DMX. Yeah.
Who's currently in jail in Spartanburg.
Yeah.
God, it's terrible.
Yeah.
And he was on the Hawaii Five-0 TV show.
I was in a movie with Jet Li, and now I'm in jail in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Well, taxes, they're going to pay themselves.
Yeah. Fair enough. Speaking of jail, though, I not to go back, but I did have a question that I forgot to ask.
Okay.
Ted Bundy. Mm-hmm. Does he, this day and age, get away with half of what he got away with back then? Do you think? I don't.
Is it possible?
Is it? Yeah. I don't think
it's certainly possible. There are people. There is a guy out there right now, somewhere, that has killed a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Done it in a really fucked up way. Maybe he's eaten them. Maybe necrophilia, what have you. That has gotten away with it for some time.
Yeah.
It is possible for sure.
John Douglas, who the Netflix show Mindhunters is based on one of his books.
Yes.
He says. Roughly in America, probably 30 active at any given time, and probably worldwide, probably closer to 200. And
that go under the radar.
That we don't know about. Yeah,
they're doing things as we speak.
Like that guy in South Carolina who had those dead bodies in that shipping container.
Yeah,
that guy had neighbors. Nobody knew anything about it.
Thought he was a nice guy.
Yeah, thought he was a nice guy.
Bundy, though. Thing about Bundy is his escapability, his charm, all that. wouldn't really have played so well today as it did back then.
The judge, like the way the judge complimented him for being so sharp and so smart. I don't think that would happen.
That would definitely
that
not
doesn't happen these
today.
days.
Yeah.
You know, he's not jumping out of a fucking courthouse. He's not escaping prison.
Yeah.
And just by those two actions alone, I think, resulted in the death of like 8 people that didn't need to. They should have never died. They should have never encountered them. But certainly possible.
Yeah.
I mean, because you gotta think that, you know, you've got all this technology and all this stuff that the cops are using, but they're on this technology. There's got to be opposites. You know, ways around these things. You know, it's like the yin and the yang, and so you think that the cops have all the tools to catch these guys, and they do. But in that, there's still ways to get out of it.
And a lot of times it's just blind, stupid. Either stupidity or blind, like the BTK killer. He sent the police a floppy disk that had like a letter on it.
Yeah.
And based on how smart he was. And they had it forever. And then somebody was like, is there some sort of watermark where we could tell what computer this was used on? And when the FBI guys, oh my God, there is. And they found out it was from the church that he was a secretary at.
Yeah.
Where he was typing it up while he was working at a church. You know, you guys will never going to catch me. I'm the man.
Yeah.
And that's
so they ping that floppy disk to see. Yeah.
They figured out what computer had been used on. So, and you know, like something that just randomly popped into some police officer's head. Like, can we trace it from that? And nobody thought about it until then.
Yeah, I mean, he'd been active for years, and this wasn't that long ago.
And he's the guy who they show at the end of every Mindhunters episode.
Is that who he's supposed to be?
That's
Because
BTK.
I've heard differing.
He worked for the security company.
Cool.
Yeah, that's supposed to be BTK.
You talking about which one?
The end of the Mindhunters episode. See that guy who'll go into an old woman's house, like, oh, let me do your security. Yeah. That's, you know, because
they never say who he is or anything like that.
Because he stopped for like 20. It was like a 20 years.
Are they going to do another?
They got to.
The second season is just going to be about the Atlanta child murders in the early 80s. It's just going to be one case. Okay.
All right, so we're out of the action movies. We touched on the 70s, 80s, and 90s. What's next for next week?
Death and dismemberment.
Okay.
Films of death and dismemberment.
All right. Yep.
Sound good? We're going to start with Dead and Buried.
This is our first two-time director. This is the movie Gary Sherman directed before Vice Squad.
Nice.
So it'll be the first time that...
Yep.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay.
Our first repeat director.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Very nice. Well, I don't have any announcements besides, you know, the same stuff, Mad Monster Party, and a bunch of people that don't pay me to announce them. So we're just not announcing.
There we go.
Hey, if you want to see that new Robert Rodriguez film that James Cameron produced, it will be at the Golden Ticket on Friday. It actually has, after a year or 6 months of moving back.
Yeah.
They've moved it back a few times, but it's actually coming to the theaters on Friday. Check it out, the Golden Ticket. On Tuesdays, $5 movies all the time. Yep. Well, that's it for this week. Thank you to our sponsors, Table Rock Creative, for all your video marketing needs. TableRockCreative.com. And Golden Ticket Cinemas, $5 movies before 7 o'clock every day.